Hey YouTube, today I'm going to talk about 3 different ways you can make coins when you see a gambling SBC like this Foot Hero upgrade pack we got, Icon SBC, Party Bags, etc. This will work the same exact way for pretty much any of those SBCs, so I'll talk about 3 different ways you can make coins from it. If you're new here, subscribe, turn on the notifications. We'll try to keep making the videos as frequent as we can. Been crazy trading and with Discord, but we are here trying to help everyone that wants to learn about trading. So the other day we got this max 87 Foot Hero upgrade, and the pricing was pretty great. I mean, it was pretty incredible from EA. They could have easily priced this with an extra 84 squad, probably an even extra 86 squad, and people would have done it because heroes in this game for some reason are pretty much better than icons, because any hero you can slot into your team at full chemistry, which is pretty insane. So cards like Marquisio, Yaya Toure, those are some of the better cards in the game and being used a lot by pros just because they can slot into your team so easily. And this was really cheap, so everyone was doing this SBC all at the same time. So what you saw a pretty big interim spike in fodder. 84s, 85s, and 86s and 87s went up pretty good. 88s went up a few K. Would have been a little bit better for them if it's 86 squad rating, but these peaked pretty fast. And I was kind of telling my Discord this, but the reason fodder peaked pretty fast, whereas the Icon SBC it kept rising, was just because this was just one squad and it's only 80K. So usually with untradables and things like that, people can gather that amount of coins rather quickly. So people did that SBC super duper quick. I did it. I got Solskjaer, whatever. He was pretty terrible. I'm not sure what you guys got. Comment below. Let me know if you got anything good. But yeah, I didn't get anything good, and everyone opened it right away. So fodder spiked up, and the first way to make coins with this kind of SBC is just buying fodder. Typically, this was in the code for like 4 or 5 days. We knew it was coming. It was coded this exact same way, max 87 Foot Hero. So we did know that. So we bought fodder over the weekend, and it turned out to be like a 15 to 20% plus margins on 86s, 87s, and then 84s. 85s are pretty high all weekend, so I didn't actually personally advise those, but those went up about like 10% too, I think, from their low. So if you didn't buy on the weekend, what you can always do when this kind of SBC comes out, especially the first hour or two, is just grinding bids on it, right? Because everyone who invested is listing, and if they're listing on open bid or getting kind of nervous about it, you're going to have some sniping and bidding opportunities. So that's the first way, and that's the first thing I'd recommend doing on a lower budget, is just bidding on fodder if you see this type of SBC. Because if it's well priced, which this obviously was, fodder is going to be increasing. So if you're winning some bids cheap and fodder is increasing, you'll make some profit. Now, the second thing you can do, and this is on a really big budget or bigger budget, is you can look for the top cards featured in this SBC. So the max 87 Foot Hero upgrade, the best cards were Yaya Toure, Marquisio. There was a ton of good ones, though. Cool. Who else do we have here? We have Govu. I bought some of this card. You guys might have seen on my Twitter. I did flip some of them. And I should have been more aggressive personally. Like, I want you guys to know, although I consider myself an expert pretty much at this, I think we're at like 21 million coins now or something like that. I should have been more aggressive in what I was buying. I was watching this Marquisio, and I was watching him the other day, and he was like 580 at a low. And I was at the gym, and I was kind of looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get him at 580. I'll buy quite a few of them. And I knew he'd recover because not enough people pack him, right? It's not like anyone who does that max 87 is packing this guy, and it's such a minimal amount, and even if they did, it would be untradeable, so it doesn't really affect the market. So I knew he would rebound, but for some reason, once I saw him get to like 595, I just stopped. I just kind of ignored him, and as you see right now, he's up to 690, so the top cards pretty much always rebound, and we do know that, but this one was way more significant. And my reasoning for that is just because the Foot Hero SBC was leaked for 4 or 5 days, that I really think people didn't buy these heroes for days. I'm looking back like 6 days ago, and Marquisio was 655K, and he's already surpassed that. But what I think happened was so many people oversold and preemptively sold knowing this pack was coming. I saw it all over Twitter, all over Instagram, and people said, I'm going to sell my hero now before that pack comes. I'm going to beat the panic sellers. And it's so funny because that mentality that everybody does have is what leads to those drops. So he was just sitting pretty much at like 590, 600 all weekend. And then he just boomed right after the SBC because everyone who did sell preemptively went to buy him back. And that pretty much happened with every single hero above 200K. I'll show you one more example here in Govu. I bought this one actually for like 330-ish. I did have some success with him, sold him at 375, but to me, he's already passing all these lows where people oversold him at. So honestly, I don't think these will sustain. I think these are super high, super hyped. I think there's a lot of player reviews coming on Heroes now that the SBC released, and these are crazy high to me. I mean, I sold at 375 because I expected him to kind of go around this area, but he's 405 right now, which is nuts. Here's his graph if you want to see it. So he was like sitting at 330-ish, boom, 385. Now he's 405, which is absolutely nuts. Heard he's really good in game though. So that's what you can do. You can look for top cards in the hero pack. And if you want to go a little bit further, where you're using some more trading insight for it, Serie A heroes actually did incredibly well because we've had that dynamic duo with Posh and Arnautovic out lately. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about there if I can spell it correctly. There's Arnautovic. We had that dynamic duo and they're super duper cheap. We also had Dodo, and I did all these cards. I'm a Serie A lover, Serie A advocate, and I did all of them. He's actually better than I thought he would be. And people have their cards right now, and Serie A doesn't have the best, most meta players, so people are linking cards like Brolin in, and you can see his rise was actually one of the craziest percentages. He went from like 190 to 250, so absolutely nutty there. And if you pretty much bought any hero above 130 to 150k, you'd make really good money, and these actually went a lot higher than I think any trader expected. So that's the second thing. It is recurring. You can look for that every single time. If there's a party bag and you're seeing the top cards in that party bag getting panic sold, pick them up. They're going to recover, and they're going to recover higher most situations. That already happened with the Icon SBC. It was max 86, and like Hullet, he went up like 150k right after that came out, for example. Vieira went up 150k as well, so it is already recurring, and you can already see that. And then the last way I want to talk about to make coins during all this is just flipping meta cards. So you guys, again, if you follow me on Twitter, if you don't, do it. It's a plug, but it's worth doing, I think. And I was noticing yesterday that Davinson Sanchez, he was kind of rising all day, right? He kind of has pretty good demand, and he's a mini release card. He's new, so he went from 74k all the way up to like 84k around content. Right when that Hero SBC came out, he dropped back down to 78. So, excuse me. So I bought a ton of him at like 78, sold them in a few hours after for 95-ish. It won't show the peak on Footbin, but I sold them for 95, got him for 78. And I did the same thing with Theo, and I kind of used Theo under that same logic I had with the Foot Heroes, right? I knew Theo is going to be really high in demand right now because we have those Serie A SBCs. So you can kind of see he was rising really well all morning. And then the Foot Hero SBC came out and he dropped. And Footbin won't catch the lows or the highs, but he would drop down all the way to 63k. And that same night, we went back up 10k to 73k. So in that panic, in that first hour, typically you see a big SBC like an Icon, a Hero, a Party Bag SBC. Look for meta cards that have reason to recover, whether it be new promo cards or gold cards that link with a lot of current SBCs. That's what I tend to look for, and it will make you pretty much as many coins as you want throughout the year. That day I bought cards for like an hour, made 450k profit on all those methods I showed you above, and you can use this all year. So I hope this helps you out. If it does, make sure you like the video and come back for more. Peace.